Dystopia tonight.
Fuck out of town! Fucking treasonous pieces of shit!
Dystopia tonight.
Hey, everybody. I've got an amazing comic, comedian, Canadian person, human being coming back for his second time doing a live podcast with me. But before we start, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of a treat. This is a clip of his from his last stand-up special, True North, that was nominated for, what was it?
Canadian Screen Award.
Canadian Screen Award.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What is that the equivalent of?
I guess it's the equivalent of an Emmy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's...
He says, laughing.
Yeah.
When you've got 15 people there in a fucking Hallmark movie, just, jonesing on the red carpet.
Of course.
It's like, okay.
I love how they always put comedians up against like that shit, where it's like,
Well, I'll tell you, I know. You know what? You're exactly right. I was nominated for that in a solo performance, and I'll tell you who won.
Who?
A hockey player, P.K. Subban, who played for the Montreal Canadiens. He hosted a gala just for laughs. It's like, what? I walked on stage, man, and read a teleprompter. At that point in time, I've been doing this for 22 years.
It's such a fucking...
Doesn't matter. Whatever.
No.
And you know what? And it's perfect.
Right.
I would expect nothing less given the calling I've answered. It's once upon a time, it's true. Once upon a time, I had tickets to see the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And I'd done a corporate gig for Dumb Dude who had seasons tickets. And anyway, I took my father and we were sitting on at a nice table with a silk tablecloth and, really nice seats.
Yeah.
And my father said, "This is way different than the first hockey game I took you to, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, it is, Dad." I was like 5 years old and we were down in this, in a coal town where I was raised called Cape Breton, and they were playing steel workers from 10 miles up the road. And after the game, there was so much blood and teeth on the ice. So many people were spitting chiclets from getting punched in the face. I thought a couple of Inuit hunters had gutted a seal at center ice. There was just a big strip of blood. Right. And then anyway, here we are at the Air Canada Centre.
Mhm.
Leafs are playing Boston. Great game. We get a pass to the director's lounge afterwards.
Ooh.
Right. So me and my little Newfoundland-born father, I mean, he was 5'2" his whole life, right?
Right.
So the older he got, the shorter he got. By the time he was 83, he could run under the kitchen table without hitting his head. He was a great little guy. Anyway, we're standing in the director's lounge with all these high rollers from Bay Street and political suckholes and those kind of assorted people. And standing in the corner, double fisting free draft. I remember trying to figure out what the hell was on top of the cracker we had. And I learned a lesson that night: never be in a room filled with people you make fun of for a living.
Oh.
And I don't think comedians are supposed to be on the inside.
No, I agree.
It's a great quote that Joan Rivers said to Mort Saul years ago. I forget where I read it, but she said, maybe it was in one of those Lewis Lapham books, What
I have I have a bunch of those.
I love those. I love them.
Me too.
And I think it was the one on fame. And she said to Mort Saul, she said, "Let's go for a coffee tomorrow." He said, "I can't. I'm going horseback riding." She went, "What? You going horseback riding? You're a Jew from Brooklyn. We don't ride horses." He said, "Well, I couldn't say no." "Why?" "Well, because the first lady asked me."
Oh.
"You're going horseback riding with Jacqueline Kennedy. You, Mort Saul." "Yeah." She said, "You're finished."
Wow. Yeah.
We're not supposed to belong. We're supposed to observe. We're supposed to be on the porch with the bearded lady and the dog-faced boy. We're circus people.
Yeah.
It's where we belong. And that's where our strength is, I think, John.
I think so too. And I think that quote should be tossed around much more now, because just this crop of fucking comedians that we have, especially here in the US. I
What, the
think
Cro-Magnon guys like Rogan?
yeah, exactly. I think we're way too. I don't think politicians belong on comedians' podcasts. I don't
They
think
don't.
yeah, exactly. I don't think, you know, the fact that these fucking morons can sway or influence an election or whatever it is. And I mean, like them aside, like any comedians, like it feels really shitty to see a comedian that who's probably, a funny guy or you knew from the road or whatever it is, suddenly wielding this immense power. Like,
I think it's a sin against the craft.
yeah,
You know, it's a cardinal sin.
yeah.
And look, you say absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think a lot of money does too.
Oh God, absolutely. Yeah, no question
And
about it.
it changes your perspective.
Yeah.
And also, what happens, I think, is when you become a member of the anointed and appointed,
Mm-hmm.
um, a, a messianic complex takes over.
Yeah.
And I think you begin to believe you're bulletproof and that every word that comes from your mouth is gospel.
Yep.
And yeah, it's certainly a turn of the tide in the rebel voice, isn't it?
It is, and this is a good time to bring up your clip because this is one of the reasons why I love. Well, the material is great. You're super fucking funny. It's poignant. It's smart. It hits home for anybody in the U.S. and everything. But also, I got to see it because it blew up and went viral. And I was about
Yes.
to just say, you don't. One of the things that annoys me about comedy comedians in this point, when they get press, it's so rare that it's about their specials or a joke they told or being funny. It's usually some incendiary fucking horse shit that you and
Exactly.
it's like, oh, but what happened to just fucking making me laugh? Like, for God fucking sake, like, I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, exactly, and I
And
understand
that
that.
is the virtue of the work at the end of the day.
Yep.
And it's epiphany I had, after being in California for 3 years, you never forget the smell of, Topanga Canyon eucalyptus after a rain.
Right.
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 And, I put my kid in my back. She was a toddler then. And,
Mm.
I was struggling, but I'd hit the hills of the Santa Monica mountain range. And, we go for picnics and things.
Yeah.
And then coming back to Canada, you never really forget the lure, and it's intoxicating,
Right.
because the American dream is encoded in everybody's DNA,
Yes.
particularly those of us who, for want of a better phrase, I guess, chase the showbiz grail.
Right.
Yeah, right. And I mean, it's a plateau here. You hit a certain level, and that's where you stay. And
Yeah.
I still beat every bush to fill a room. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And marketplace is glutted. But I had this epiphany. I was just starting to get some legs in the soft cedars and the work, and I still had a notion of going back. And I remember I had an encore date in the Windspear Center in Edmonton. It was minus 35 degrees in a blizzard.
Wow.
And I went in there and the theater was full. And I did my usual 100-minute set. Yeah. And I came out and I went, wow, you know what? 2,000 people laughing in a snowstorm sounds exactly the same as 2,000 people laughing in Las Vegas when it's warm.
Yeah.
Right. The money is certainly never as great.
Right.
Efforts to get to the gig. I mean, you're driving these widow-making strips of asphalt, right?
Yeah.
At some far point of frontier, dodging transfer trucks and being stuck in blizzards. A fucking Yeti wouldn't fucking well wander. But the joy of the work is still there.
Yeah.
And I'm 68 at the end of January, sneaking up on 30 years in soft cedars and 5 in the clubs.
Yeah.
And the road gets old. I think I'm sure that no matter how comfortable you get, it still gets old.
Yeah.
I mean, harder, hotels, driving, and all
Sure.
those things. But it's all about the journey, not the grail at the end of the trail.
Yeah, I
And
agree,
it's
man.
all about the work, right?
Yeah.
Laughs.
Yep, absolutely. There's nothing. I mean, I'm the same. I mean, I'm 40, but I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm in the same
Oh boy,
boat.
you're getting in early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I started late.
yeah. And like but it's the same thing. Where like like every other bit of it gets more exhausting as you get older. But the being on stage and making an audience laugh never gets old. So all of that is a brutal, and it's annoying, and it gets more tedious sometimes, but it's still, you still do it for that end thing of just connection and being with people and being able to
And the work
express
is still the
yourself.
same. Pardon me, I'm sorry.
Being able to express yourself and then having another room give it back to you, you know, your ideas are heard, your commute, it's just it's otherworldly.
It is indeed, and it's otherworldly, a world unto itself.
Yeah.
And the work is still the same.
Yeah.
No matter how famous you are or where you are on the top, you still got to pull it up from the blank page.
Oh God, I know, I
You
know.
know,
That's the
it's
I
like
oh
Myers said to me once. We started in Second City
yeah,
years ago, and I admired his trajectory. He worked so hard.
sure.
But he said, this was years ago. We were talking. He said, Ronnie, it's alchemy.
Mm,
Where does it come from?
yeah,
You pull gold from straw,
yeah,
and it's and it's true that stayed with me. It's alchemy,
yeah,
and it helps if you've come from funny people. That's a bit of an advantage. My
yep,
folks like the good laugh, and I'm of the Celtic heritage. I was around people who made me laugh, right,
mhm,
and I made them laugh. And but as you well know now, once you become a professional, it's an exponential leap from being funny in the kitchen or classroom to being funny on stage.
absolutely.
But don't you find, though, John, that the longer you stay in the game, the more you become you?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I can attest to that just through COVID alone. Like I was touring a lot before the pandemic. Pandemic hit, obviously we all kind of got that thing. And then I
Yeah.
started doing this. But it was this weird thing of like everything that I had done beforehand leading to the pandemic was kind of became this amalgam of sitting at home, getting guys like you on, doing kind of this. And I really felt like I got the chance to take it all in and become more me. And then going back out of it again, I had this new sense of like, I just stripped away everything that may have been not fake, but like, you know what I mean? Like a false thing of like,
Extraneous.
thank you. Extraneous. Exactly. And it felt really, really good. And I think from that point, it's only been going, in that direction. The only thing I get paranoid about is, this maybe just be a performer thing, is like, I still have this fear of waking up and having it go away. I don't know why.
Uh,
And then you get on
Interesting.
stage and I do it again and it's fine. But there's still this thing of like, if there's a gap in between, maybe
I
a
get
little
like
long.
that in the summertime when I'm not on the road.
Yes. The
And
summer is
people
a
say you have
fucking,
to recharge your batteries. And I go, yeah, I know. But you know what? I'm 3 weeks back home in Nova Scotia in the summertime. Uh, and, Libby and I are there and we're relaxed. And, you know, uh, uh, I'll go catching mackerel and, put my garden in and go for bike rides. But
yeah.
I start missing the buzz. I start missing funny people,
Yes.
professional ones
Yeah.
who you sit around a table with and just boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
and bang it out.
Yep.
And it's just and it's not that you don't enjoy where you are,
Yeah.
like Nova
Yeah.
Scotia or with Libya or anything like that. It's that you just you just miss the scrum,
Yeah.
the action. And that's when I fear I go, oh, the muscle is atrophying
Mhm.
because it atrophies fast,
It
right?
does. Yeah. And it's also like, where are you supposed to put, all the thoughts? Like, where are you supposed to put, and there's nowhere for them to go after a while. So once, like, I don't mind taking breaks and then accumulating, I'm always writing different ideas, different stuff, jotting down shit in my phone. But it does get to a point where there's a lot of it. And you're like, it has to go fucking somewhere.
Yeah, I know it's got to get out of your head.
Yeah, I'm like, it's
I
too
hear
much
you.
now. And then you start saying it to regular people, and they're like, "Are you seeing any? Are you getting help for that?" fucking no, I need to be around comedians. Like some like
Are you getting help for that? Yeah, it's called the club.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I
Called a
need
45 to a 2 hour, 45-minute to a 2 hour set. It's called the work.
exactly. Yeah. I need to be
And
in a basement uh with other people who
right.
understand.
Otherwise, you're just Rupert Pupkin in your mother's basement. Yeah. Have you been watching that documentary on HBO here's the ADHD
Sure, yeah,
guy,
please.
but on Scorsese?
No, I haven't started that yet.
That's so good.
I heard it's phenomenal. And I
It's
also
so good.
before we get into things that are very, very
Oh,
good, I'm gonna play your clip real quick for everybody
okay.
so they can because this was I was so happy this went viral and I was so happy to share this with
Thanks,
everybody I
Ron.
knew. So here we go. Oh my god, dude. That is so fucking good.
Thank you. And I will tell you, it wasn't True North. It was I think that was called the High Times,
High
because
times.
I think Justin had just legalized marijuana,
Oh,
and
right.
and judging by the backdrop, I think that was the fall of the summer my dad had passed away,
Oh,
because there's a family photo, kind of a family photo in the background, there's the old Ford I noticed.
right, right,
But
right.
so 2017, so we were out of the gates with that after Trump's first term. And then, of course, as you said earlier about COVID, everything ground to a halt.
Yeah.
And then, so after that, uh, when my eyebrows got whiter, the Mother Corps showed me the door, even though all the specials did well over, and in Canada, these are uh, very good numbers, well over 1.3 million every New
My
Year's
god,
Eve
that's
when
fucking huge.
they played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. But thankfully, once again, the road, the road, the road, the road, it was always there. It's the home, it's the foundation, it's the place you come back to.
Yeah.
And um, uh, it's so far away from the Machiavellian politics of network television and all those minefields you have to negotiate and
Sure.
everything else. And it's free. There's a freedom. But I want to ask you this, because
Yeah.
I've noticed in Canada too, and I've got some buddies doing stand up in New York from
Mhm.
Canada, and they've toured, you know, down around the Mason Dixon line and
Yeah.
even further north, and some real Trump country. And the club owners have said, because of the nature of their act, I wouldn't go out to the parking lot yet.
Yeah, yeah. That's happened to me 4 or 5 times.
What?
Yeah. In Phoenix.
In New York State
No,
or
not in New York.
Jersey?
Oh, no, 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 not in New York or New Jersey. Sorry, I thought we were talking about. No, when I travel. Michigan, Phoenix, Ohio,
Oh,
all
Ohio.
you know, um Yeah, and
How crazy are they in Ohio?
Oh, dude, it's bad. It's fucking brutal. And Phoenix was Phoenix was the one I'd written about this in Newsweek because Phoenix was the one. It was the first time where the club owner was like, and this is a big room. It was God, was it the House of Blues or something like that in Phoenix or some? I can't remember
Really?
the venue. Yeah, and one guy. It was one fucking guy. Everybody else having a good time. I didn't even know when I was on stage that this could have been an issue, or whatever it
Oh
was.
boy.
But apparently he had gotten up and fucking left, but was waiting the entire time and plastered, by the way. So the alcohol never helped, But the owner of the place was like, hey man, you gotta wait. You can't go outside yet. And the cops were there, and he left his date at the table, and like he just wanted to fucking murder me because I had said some shit about Trump and whatever.
And
And
that's in Phoenix?
that's in Phoenix.
That's open carry there, isn't it?
Yeah. So they were real big on me not even going outside yet. Like it was,
Has anybody been shot yet?
I don't,
Do they have
I
to
don't,
leave their weapons, lock their weapons at the door?
I don't know, man.
I
Thankfully,
mean, it's one thing dealing with a heckler. It's something else dealing with a semi-automatic Glock.
yeah,
With
exactly. And Michigan was a thing where this was before. This is when he got elected, maybe the
the first time, 2016.
first time around, yeah. And when I was
Yeah.
in Michigan, it was like a thing too. But it wasn't violent. It was these people had to be escorted out because I also asked them to be fucking removed. But they, back tables. Also, the funny thing is they were there for free. So like the rest of the audience had paid, but apparently at this club they had gotten like a free chance to go see whatever. Why they chose to waste it on me, I don't know. You can Google me and not go to the fucking club,
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Find out what you're about.
yeah, and I had like 15 minutes left in my headlining set or whatever, and then
Right, working up to the end.
yeah, and then they started chanting, Trump and all USA and all this other shit, and I batted. I always said, "Hey man, it's not a fucking rally," blah blah blah, and then I started making fun of them a bit. And one of the things I had said is, why is it always? I said, why is it always the dudes that Trump would never hang out with that fucking do this shit? He would hate you if he met you. I said, unless you, and then the funny thing is I said, unless you can get him a 14-year-old girl. I
Oh.
and lo and behold, fucking Epstein list shit coming out. But I mean, like it's just insane. But yeah, I've had it a couple times where that's happened, but only in flyover states.
And what's this movement that's happening in Austin, the Broligarch stand-up movement? That's right.
It
That's
is.
initiated by Rogan.
Yeah.
I watched even before he went famous. I said I was watching some stand-up specials,
Hmm.
and I don't know if this. I think the American scene is well by the nature of the nation. It's I think more competitive than here because as I said earlier in our chat, you can get somewhere there.
Sure.
I don't know if that's still the. I know it was back in the 80s and 90s that you become a good stand-up, you'll get a sitcom, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that still motivates it, but there was it was a bit of a well, it really was Los Angeles, a carnivore's arena
Yeah.
in the days I was there, but as an actor though. But going down to catch and Bud's Club at Melrose and such.
Sure.
It you had people who had their followings, and people still listened then.
Yeah.
You still had hecklers,
Yeah.
but there was always, I think, and I know this is going to sound like a contradiction, but I didn't think it's a strength that a vulnerability about a comedian simply by the nature of getting up there and as pretty one always says,
Right.
being naked on stage.
Yeah.
But I find that this testosterone fueled Cro-Magnon man approach
Right.
to the funny is in the end it's fascist, man.
Yeah, it is. And I don't
It's
understand.
strength.
Yeah.
It's all this strength and macho posturing, and it's so not what we I mean, now it's an entire movement.
Yeah.
Where before you had you had all kinds of different acts and all kinds of different personas, and every comedian grows into their own
Hmm.
point of view, and hopefully that's the one that feeds them, right?
Yeah. Well,
But now it's a massive movement that's derivative of MAGA.
yeah. Well, what's so weird is there used to be uh like a different kind of strength in being a nerdy comedian, in being
There you go.
clever, in being whatever, because there was like you didn't have to like the whole thing about being a comic or being funny or even that it was so underground when it started. Like it was a cool thing to know about certain comedians. It was
Yeah.
this thing that people could bond over. You didn't have to fucking hunt and take supplements and dive into conspiracy theories and
You
fucking hawk.
didn't have to hunt and take
Yeah, you didn't
supplements.
have to do any of
So
that.
funny.
The cool thing was being, being, a bit of an outcast and embracing it. And then
Yes.
finding your community of other outcasts, and then and then kind of having that thing. And they've really kind of turned it into this fucking money grab where
Yes.
where it is only the same. I mean, all those guys that got big, um, in the podcast sphere did it by giving each other soft hand jobs until they were the only ones in that fucking circle jerk that made it, and then they created this thing. Like there's, I mean, I'm always going to be like, in awe of somebody creating something huge that explodes for comedy, because I always,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
because I always think for comedians, it's always pretty good. Except now, I kind of think, my God, I really wish people would stop fucking talking about us so we could go back to just being in the club and having fun and doing our shit and not being under this microscope where, you
Rather
know,
than having the expectations of being some kind of enlightened prophet
yeah,
when really you're just trying to get your 8 minutes to work.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's not to say that comedians can't say, like, I love that there's a Carlin and a Jon Stewart and and a Richard Pryor, and there's always going to be those people that come across like that we loved and admired, and that's the
Yeah,
reason why we all do it or whatever. But it doesn't mean like I'm sorry, but it doesn't mean fucking Bert Kreischer is spitting out fucking gems of wisdom. You know what I mean? He can just be an
I don't know
ass.
who that guy is. Who's that guy? I don't know
Yeah.
who that guy is. I watch so little stand up, but uh, uh, I don't know who he is.
Yeah, you're lucky because I do, and it's rotting my brain. And it's fine. You know what I mean? Like he can be goofy. Like it's one of those things where like I'm always torn because like there's I think about like the 80s
Who was
when
that guy that got popular in the aughts?
oh
Dane
Dane
Cook,
Cook. Yeah, Dane Cook.
who seemed to yell and have no
Yeah, still does.
set up delivery punchlines.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
And he got big off of MySpace by making that thing. He was the first one. So
Uh,
here's the thing that happens with the internet and shit like that too, which is why every PR team, every whatever, has no idea how this shit works, but they just make sure your name is signed up and I'm on every app, whether I know I'm on it or not, because the off chance I could blow up on it or whatever. But Dane Cook went on MySpace and would literally just spam like other accounts and other people about the shows he had. And he created this thing in that sphere, and he would have like other MySpace pages created for Dane Cook stuff to get his name out there. He really had this whole system like worked out to the point where once he got successful and it exploded and it was found out that he did it through MySpace and everybody else tried it, MySpace creators did put something in place that limited people doing that. So he was the
okay.
only one who really got to explode that way because he exploited it first.
So we got to the gold first, just like, anytime I can make an analogy to the American West, I do.
Yes. Yeah,
He was one of the first buffalo hunters, right?
exactly.
When
Bingo.
the plains were filthy with them,
Yeah.
and and more power to him. But I mean, I always, because of the generation that instilled a love of the craft,
Hmm.
they were always saying something.
Yeah.
Carlin was always saying something. Pryor was always saying something, and Robin Williams certainly did, the greats of
Absolutely.
that era. Robert Klein certainly did.
Yeah, Robert
And,
Klein. Yeah,
sure, Steve Martin was such a breath of fresh air and so
sure.
huge and so funny. And then, of course, many after him. But I found that after I got into stand up professionally, and began working on my own craft, I really stopped watching it, and
You
I
kind of
find that
have to.
there's
Yeah.
so much on television now. I wouldn't even know where to start. I
Right.
don't like the notion of punching down, though,
No.
and I don't think that's we want to topple the guy on the golden toilet,
Yeah.
not the homeless cat or the marginalized transgendered person,
Exactly. I
right?
completely agree with that too. I don't understand this idea that there's this group that's hurting, and what you're gonna do as a comedian is
Is
somehow
make them
go,
feel worse
yeah,
and use them
exactly.
as a punching bag.
It's
I don't
fucking
get it.
bizarre to me. I don't get it either. And the other thing too is you have a very I was gonna ask you this after seeing that clip again. You have a very, I think, Carlin-esque approach to your comedy and your stand-up. Do you consider yourself more of a writer and a performer, or both? Because Carlin always said he was more of a writer who performed his own,
Yeah.
but you have such in-depth, very long, very uh um creative bits that I feel like you must have to. How much time does it take you to commit that to memory?
It's a long time. It's a long time to get them together. Sometimes, well, they percolate over time. Sometimes it's a sentence, and then I'll get the next sentence 6 months later.
Wow.
But I do these 2-hour shows,
Yeah,
and they're also that's just one flavor of the show,
sure.
and that would get really old in a hurry if that's all I
Yeah,
did.
of course.
Right? And so you have to, yeah.
Well, where are you going to? Are
I
you
like to do stage.
improvising
I
at
can
all?
physicalize jokes. I'm sorry.
No,
Pardon
no, I
me.
was gonna say,
What?
like, are you, like, when you're working that stuff out, are you improvising at all when you're on? Are you just trying to get it down? Are you trying to get into?
No, it's tight in those shows when the cameras are there.
Yeah.
It's tight, and
Hmm.
I know it inside out when I hit that
Incredible.
stage. Yeah, and I but I also like to physicalize and perform some bits,
Yes,
which really helps, and it changes the flavor over the
I,
100 minutes to 2 hours, right?
absolutely.
And I saw two specials when I was broke, and in my broke years in Los Angeles. After I went down to do a series, it was canceled. Actually, with Colin Mockery's wife, Deb McGrath.
Oh,
Deb
nice.
McGrath, she was one of the co-creators of it, from Second City, and I was a cast member. And anyway, it was with Ron Howard's company called Imagine TV, and it
Hmm.
brought half a dozen of us Canadians down to LA, and uh, my eldest, who's 37 now, was 2 years old at the time. That's how many years ago it was.
Yeah.
But we were syndicated and stuff. And then we were canceled, and I was out of work for a long time. We used to shoot 6 half-hour shows a week, and we'd be put on late night. And anyway, speaking of Newsweek, our picture was in Newsweek on Tuesday. We were canceled on Thursday, and Monday morning I was chest deep in a hole with my buddy's father's landscaping company in Encino, pulling a
Wow.
tree at a Robert Urick's front yard.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And my buddy Robert Urick walked out of the front door on his way to on his on his way to the polo fields and at Will Rogers Ranch in Santa Monica. A fucking jawed person, the boots up to the knees, and I was chest deep in the hole. I could pull on a tree out covered in mud.
Yeah.
And Robert Urick walked out the front door, and my buddy Jay at the time looked at Robert. He said, "Hey, how you doing, Bob?" Points down at the troll in the hole. He says, "That's my buddy Ron. He's an actor too." And Urick couldn't even look at me,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to yell at him and go, "There, but for the grace of God, go you, Robert. Enjoy your day at the polo fields, old chum." You hear footsteps behind you. It's me.
That's
It's
great.
me.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was so I was out of work, but I watched two HBO specials the
Mm.
first year they came out. Uh, Speaking of loving words and physicalizing your act,
Yeah.
the first one I saw was Dennis Miller's first special, Black and White,
I remember I have that on VHS.
and I don't remember other comedians' jokes. I'm
Wow.
off, but this one stayed with me
Yeah.
because there was so much going on, and I heard over the years that he was a liberal with a broken heart. I
Yeah,
mean, he swung hard right, clearly.
he did. Yeah,
I don't know if he's still there with Trump, but I know he was with Bush.
yeah,
But he had this great joke. He said, "You can always tell a New York liberal. There's somebody who'll step over a human being sleeping in a puddle of their own piss on the sidewalk to throw a bucket of pig's blood on somebody in a fur coat." There's a lot going on in that
yeah,
joke.
yeah.
There was
Absolutely.
a lot. There was a lot, and I've heard Carvey talk about him and saying that he was being. They were. I think he was on Howard Stern saying who was the best anchor, and he said, "Well, for my money, it was
Miller.
Dennis Miller." He
Yeah,
was on a car trip with him for 3 hours, and he wrote jokes from the beginning to the end of the trip, and every single one killed.
yeah.
Every single one.
Right.
And then the next one I watched, that was the 90 minutes. Next one I watched was Billy Connolly's first special.
Oh God, so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Amazing.
And he was flying. I mean, he was this tartan shaman from Glasgow.
Yeah.
He was flying. And I was watching him and weeping. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And I think I said in the book, I said afterwards, I felt like someone who'd been abducted by aliens and then brought back to Earth, knowing that life would never be the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I saw him at Just for Laughs years after that, about 10 years after I was doing a concert there. And he was there. He was at another theater. And I spoke to him at an after party outside. And I was
Wow.
really nervous. And I said, "Look, I just want to tell you the reason I'm here is because I saw your special years ago." And he had this cigar in his teeth. He said, "Thanks a lot." Another fella said that to me. It's nice. And I said, "Let me ask you a question. How did a Glaswegian welder on the docks who came from poverty become an international stand-up sensation?" And his eyes, those pale blue eyes just burn with fury. And he pulled that cigar out of his teeth, John. He said, "That's a question about fame. Fuck fame. Sing your song. Sing your song. Sing your song."
That's great.
Right? And 6 months later, I was stuck in a blizzard. A Yeti wouldn't wander on my way to Prince George in northern BC, where the 2-lane road suddenly became a snow-crusted goat path the Taliban refugee with a winning lottery ticket wouldn't cross. And I remember thinking what he said to me. I remember, well, I guess I'm singing my song. Nobody, nobody hears me. I don't know if I might get dragged out of the Jesus car into a forest primeval by hungry predators.
Oh my God,
But
that's so
buddy,
great.
it's that's the kind of collateral that I
Yeah.
think a comedian needs for the long haul.
Yeah. It's funny though
Right?
too because like that there's guys like Billy Connolly who would say that kind of shit and I believe him 100%. And
One
then
hundred
there's
percent.
other guys that say it and I think they just want to do it on a soundbite on a podcast because they're already rich and what difference does it fucking make, you know? And I when I can tell that that's what's happening, it
And yeah.
fucking kills me. It just kills me. It kills me. But you're
Yeah.
right about Miller, man. And he was like prolific and just an amazing, and he still is. Like when I see him on regular shit, when he's not spouting, to Bill O'Reilly on some shit or doing whatever he's doing, he's still fucking funny. He's still sharp. He's still got whatever it is. But and I said this not too long ago, but I'm pretty much almost done with Bill Maher. Once in a while, Bill Maher has a thing.
Done.
Yeah, but he fucking
Always wants to be the smartest man in the room.
yeah, exactly. But
That's all. It's it.
I always
And he
said
kissed the ring too.
he did. He fucking did, dude. But I always said uh, COVID broke Bill Maher the same way 9/11 broke Dennis Miller.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's a great call.
Thank
That's a great call.
Because
Yeah.
he changed after COVID completely. And at first I was like, this is just sad because this is one of those guys who's, Be More Cynical was a great special that he did maybe 2000. And then Victory Begins at Home, Bill Maher did in 2004. My friends actually and I went to see him at Count Basie in Red Bank, senior year of high school. And
Oh wow.
because we had protested the Bush administration, we had done all this shit. And then Victory Begins at Home was about the Bush administration and like all this other shit that was going on. And the next election was coming up. And, so we were like, okay, let's go see this guy. And he was great and he was fantastic. And then to kind of just see him chase like a Rogan's audience and then pretending he can talk to all the conservatives and pretending he's got, like-minded views when it comes to trans and all and Islam and Palestine and stuff like that, and just kind of kowtowing to Trump and all that shit. I was like, fuck you, dude. Like that's
Well,
beyond chasing an audience you're no longer.
yeah, that's a bit. That's a. I'd never want to be that
Yeah.
big either. I mean, I still like. The bottom line, I still like hearing people laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, just
exactly.
the fundamentals.
That's
You
such
know,
a
the
good point.
fundamentals of it, man.
Yeah.
Do you miss that?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I because look, if somebody's leaving the house in this country in the wintertime
Yeah.
to fill a theater,
Yeah.
get a sitter, or and drive to the theater and make an effort to get out of the house when there's so much to keep them in the house.
Yep.
You, it behooves you to uh, deliver a show that's going to, this might feel sound hokey, but to make them feel a hell of a lot lighter than when they walked in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's their job is to lighten the load. And given the given this world we're in the middle of, I've been opened the show after Trump won last year and said, well, we're in the middle of a Mephistophelian clusterfuck where every tongue in the Tower of Babel is flapping with so many conflicting opinions. Any minute, I'm going to look out the window and see one of the horses of the apocalypse taking a dump on my deck. So, so when we're John, when we're living in a world that is the context,
Yeah.
there's so much weight people are bringing in, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, mortality is the new reality for baby boomers.
Sure.
I'm losing buddies left and right. Some have
I'm sorry, man.
fallen to early onset Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Old buddies you ran with in the bulletproof days of yore,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
a hashtag was something you got from getting too close to the hash knives. I don't know if you did them down there, but when you put two knives in that, did you put two knives in the electric stove, and
Right.
the little hash? And,
I only know it. I only know it from stories. I don't know.
Oh, do you? Oh,
Not a
well.
bad way to go though.
Well, it was a day. Yeah, I'm not looking at that anymore. I'd
But
much
like,
rather get a good sleep.
but for you though too, I mean, like, here's the thing that I mean, and this may just be from an outside perspective, right? But I just had Paul Myers on,
Oh, what a good guy!
right? The
What
best
a
dude.
salt of the earth
Yeah,
guy!
and he just wrote that book on candy.
Yeah, so
Um,
good.
and I
I've read
just
excerpts. I haven't read the whole thing, but he's a salt of the earth, man.
yeah, he's
So is his
the
wife.
oh, that's great. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of the nicest dudes. He did the benefit this past year too, and um he's just, he's great. And the John Candy book that he wrote he's very good at making you feel like you are the person he's writing about.
Isn't
So,
that?
um, when he's talking about Candy at a party with Dan Aykroyd, and he's introducing, he's got Chevy in a headlock, introducing everybody to, whatever. It makes you feel like you are him. And then when his lifetime kind of takes a turn, you're like, oh my God, you hope, you know what's happening, but you're flipping the pages hoping he fucking pulls it back. But so that was great. And then,
It was
I've
so good that Ryan Reynolds endorsed him the other day.
yes, I saw that too. Yeah. And I love the documentary on Candy. And then, there's like Eugene Levy, obviously, Martin Short, all the SCTV guys. There's you, Colin Mockery. I just became friends about a year ago with Cal Dodd. Do you know Cal?
Oh no, I know the name. I don't know him.
Voiceover. He's the voice, to me anyway, to my generation, my kid, the voice of Wolverine in the X-Men cartoon.
Oh wow.
But he also opened for Joe Cocker on the road. He's got a beautiful singing voice. He's great. And then I got to meet, Adrian Huff, another guy who's a voice of
Sure.
Nightcrawler on there. And then the woman who did Jean Grey. But my point is the Canadian, like, there's, I don't know, again, maybe an outside thing, but Canadians seem to have, you just dropped some names over there, entertainment wise, who just have this beautiful community connection in the entertainment world. Is it because it's, is it just because it's small, like in a sense, maybe over there, and you guys are all like you root for each other when you leave, to the States? It seems like you hang on to those ties.
Well, I think we were all forged in the same crucible in our early years.
Yeah.
And, even though those guys that you mentioned were in Toronto and Danny was in Ottawa,
Right.
they still had the influence of America. I mean, we live so close to the border. Eighty
Yeah.
percent of Canadians live close to the border. We're practically looking up Lady Liberty's skirt, but it's
Let me ask you
and,
this: Bush,
yeah.
no Bush? What do you?
I was just about to say a very charming Brazilian,
Oh, all right.
very, very charming Brazilian,
With a French woman, that's
and
impressive.
um, uh, but because look, there was competition, but I think it gets back to the nature of the nation itself
Mm,
and the people who were raised in it,
right.
right? I mean, Canada wasn't sired by revolution. I mean, the combative nature of the industry there, and that's not to say that I know it inside out. I'm not saying everybody's at everybody's throat,
Sure.
but those guys who came of age in Second City in Toronto in the 70s,
Yeah.
John and Danny and Gilda and Eugene, and it was still a small world then, man.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't get a drink in front of you on Sunday in Toronto unless you had a letter from your doctor. No, you needed to have food in front of you,
Right.
and it was such it was a backwater, but there was this camaraderie. There was a genuine respect for each other as a person
Yeah.
first, I think, and a performer second. Like the days that remember when Mike joined the touring company. Mike Myers joined. We were already seasoned veterans, and we he finished his high school exams and auditioned at 110 Lombard Street at Second City, and blew us all away. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we were already 5, 6, 10 years older than him, and he jumps in the van with a. He was still so focused even then. This,
Yeah.
this pale little kid with an ermine tail, and he had it looked like it was the first time he was away from home. He had a child suitcase, a soccer ball, a case of Coke, uh, Coca Cola, and
Right. Right.
the collected works of Harold Pinter,
Wow.
the great British playwright.
Yeah.
The collected, I'll never
Shit.
the juxtaposition of those items,
Yeah.
and but we were and everybody. We worked up north in the Muskokas at this resort in the summertime, and we were yeah, anxious to get downtown Toronto to main stage,
Yeah.
which was the equivalent of Chicago's main stage, of course. And but there was there's something wonderful about the innocence of beginnings,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
When
Absolutely.
you finally, hey man, I think I'm going to get an opportunity to actualize my dream here.
Yeah.
We're all in the van together. We're moving in country
Mm.
and doing what we do and paying our dues together. And I remember reading something about Jackie Gleason once. They were interviewing, and he said, the happiest we were is when we were making $35 a week and skating at Rockefeller Center for fun.
Yeah.
And maybe that answers this thing about Canada in a way. Uh, there was never a lot of money here. There was never a lot of stars, or in those days, and so people were doing it because they needed to do it and
Right.
because it defined them. I don't think they were doing it to get somewhere. I think they were doing it because it was who they were.
Right. Yeah. I think that
Does that
makes a lot
make
of
any
sense.
kind of
No, it
sense?
absolutely does. And I think about that a lot too, because, there is this. I don't remember who said this. I think it was Patrice O'Neill. There was a
Yeah.
show on Showtime or something like that. Um, that Paul Provenza had. I don't know if you know
Oh
Paul.
yeah.
Paul's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and it's called Green Room.
So was Patrice. I saw him work at JFL.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was basically just saying he said something along the lines of I was much funnier before I became a comedian. and everybody laughed, and I thought about that too, where I was like, and I know what he means, you know what I mean? Like there's not that I don't know what I'm doing, whatever, and I'm not getting, it's still funny, but there's a freedom in the beginning of literally just not giving a fuck and everything go. You know what I mean? You're just creative, is just coming out of you because you don't know what's wrong and what not to do, and maybe there's not that much pressure on you, or maybe you're not worried about the ticket set or whatever the thing is, and then. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I always think like, oh my God, like just to have the freedom to do that without having to worry so much about the product part of it at the end of it. I think that's probably what gets people, right?
Yes, the genesis is always the genesis of something good.
Mm-hmm.
Is always so pure,
Yeah. Well,
right?
even
And
even SNL, like you could look at something like SNL and go, it's why I love the actually honestly almost even late night TV. The early stuff of nobody knowing what the fuck they're doing, Letterman, Conan,
wow,
you
yeah,
know, and just doing whatever they can because no one's watching. Not only that, not only is there no audience, but there's no fucking network that's like looking at him because they're like, give him the fucking. What's a great example too? Craig Ferguson when he was on at 11:30, and they were.
I love that guy. I don't know where he went and why he left, but he was great.
I know, me too, man. I think he was probably one of the top 5 to ever do like host that. That was a beautiful venue for him. But again, no, he knew nobody was watching in the beginning, so he made it his own, and it was creatively whatever. But then you kind of watch stuff now and you're like, man, I'm so tired of being mass produced at like, like everything's got exactly what it like almost to the point where they have to engineer spontaneity, and I hate it.
Wow, nice, nice, nice term.
Thank you.
Engineer spontaneity.
Yeah, does it feel like that sometimes where you're like, oh
Oh
man, this
yeah,
sucks?
yeah. I mean, I'm debating with my team. They want me to use a monitor for the show. It's
Oh,
coming up because all the cameras are there, and you don't want to lose a beat.
sure.
And I just came off the road of doing 2 hour and 15-minute shows
Yeah.
from time to time, just letting it all fall in my head. And I'd had it all written, and fortunately, I've been cursed with a great memory
You really
because you
do.
also remember the times when you've been an arsehole.
Yeah.
But you know, but I love that freedom when it's just, I mean, and your mind is cutting and pasting and
Yep.
in a nanosecond rate of time, and
Yeah.
you're wrote, and you can really feel the waves. Then you're reading the waves of laughter, and there's this wonderful connection when the audience is with you.
Hmm.
It's just symbiotic.
Yes. Yes.
But it's like you said just now. If you what was that term you used? If you structure it like what? You structure it for spontaneity.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost structured
Engineered
for
spontaneity.
spontaneity. Engineered spontaneity,
Yeah.
which is a contradiction in terms.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is one of those things where like, and now it just feels like you know, I don't want to be one of those guys who like looks at something and can't just enjoy it for maybe what it is or whatever the fuck it is, but because I have a memory and because I understand and I know where this stuff did come from. I'm not saying that things haven't improved in a certain way, and maybe, we all haven't gotten edgier as entertainers or better or more adept to whatever. But when I feel like if you have to try to I don't think it's the artists that are doing this either. I think it just becomes more about control from the top of whatever it is. Like I'll give you an example too. Like I cannot to this day watch a sitcom. I won't watch it.
Oh, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, and I never know if it's because I think the problem is it's they've almost become parody. You know how like here's a so The Simpsons first 10 years of that show is probably the best, right? And then, of course, it's a money making machine. But now, if you watch an episode today, the whole thing about The Simpsons is that it's a fucking parody of itself. So now you're not. If you've been watching it back in the day, there were stories, there were arcs, there were or whatever. It was goofiness. The characters had a thing, and now they're just almost comment. It's like too meta. It's like they're almost commenting on the joke or the humor of what, like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a faint memory of it instead of just creating the show. It's like when people try to redo Looney Tunes. And then it's like, why can't we get this? And it's like, well, because the original guys were just trying to make themselves laugh. So they were having a fucking ball and they had their
And
sense of
so
humor.
subversive.
Yeah, exactly. And now what they do is they either try to bring it into today's humor, which doesn't work, because they're not supposed to be cynical characters, or they try to replicate what they saw then. So it doesn't work anymore. But the same thing,
I
like,
thought the closest to that was Animaniacs back in the
fuck
90s.
yes. Fuck
My
yes.
kid and I watched that all the time. We still sing it.
Yeah, me too. It's a great, it's
It's a
still burned
great
in my brain.
song.
Yeah.
Hello, nurse. You
Hello,
know, the
nurse.
good fellow pigeons. It was
Oh
genius.
God, yeah.
I loved
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And they
We still watch that Saturday mornings.
Yeah, but the same thing, like with the sitcom stuff and like whatever, like it's just there's something, you know, you know what else? This is another thing too, by the way. So this is the ADD kicking in now too. But like, have you noticed like, okay, so Marvel. I'm a big nerd. I'm a big Marvel guy. I love those things. Yeah, they totally have gone,
Yeah.
downhill. I'm hoping Downey will bring it all back up. Like the last couple ones were pretty good, but whatever, right? So, but regardless, they started this trend, which was awesome, but of literally being like, we cannot tell you anything about the plot. Like we've all been sworn to secrecy. People get different scripts, yada yada yada, and that was huge in a Marvel sense because it created intrigue. We were all wondering what the fuck was going on. It was fun to watch actors trip over themselves because it was all brand fucking new. But now, whenever I see like a movie's coming out and it's a fucking rom-com and their PR team, or whatever the fuck it is probably coaching them to do this. But you'll see them talk about a rom-com and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what I can say." What do you mean you don't know what you can say? It's
It's the
girls.
same plot all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But they're trying to
Boy
like
meets
make
girl,
you
boy
feel
finds
like,
girl,
yeah. I'm
boy
like,
loses girl, boy finds girl.
yeah, exactly. But they've glommed on to the marketing scheme of, hey, when actors are like, "Oh, I don't know if we can say this." I'm like, yeah, but you look fucking ridiculous when it's not about something people give a shit about. It'd be like if Titanic came out today and they were like, "Oh, I don't know. We don't want to ruin the ending." Like, I don't know if I can tell you what, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course we know.
Yeah, I hear you.
All to fucking pretend like it's a big deal. It's fucking weird. It's
So
just,
how in terms of the American entertainment machine then,
yeah.
okay? In light of this and in light of the guy that's dismantling the institutions of democracy and a
Yes.
kleptocrat free for all.
Yeah.
What ramifications at the end of the day is that going to have for the industry? I mean, I know, Colbert is gone when in January.
January.
Uh, the threats have receded for the other ones.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, how much is that going to um,
It's hard
affect
to,
the tone of the affect the tone of America's entertainment mentality? Is there going to be resistance like there was in those 60s movies, which were so great? The
yeah.
60s and 70s were so rebellious,
Yep.
so wonderful.
I would love it if that were the case. I think the sad truth is we don't know what the next iteration of it is going to be because
There you go.
I don't know that TikTok and Instagram. I mean, I just saw Jay Jordan at the Lucille Ball Comedy Fest that I did when I and at the
Cool.
National Comedy Center, which is great. If you haven't been, you got to go.
Oh, I'd love to go. Where is it?
It's in Jamestown, New York,
Oh boy,
where Lucy
love
was
to do
born.
that.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah, I know it's a hike.
And I didn't realize until I heard a little while ago she invested in Star Trek.
Yes, she did. She's the only reason why Star Trek took off. Isn't that crazy?
I didn't find that out until a little while ago.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that nuts? If it wasn't for Lucille Ball, no Star Trek. Wow. But so I saw Jay Jordan and Josh Johnson, and they were talking about the internet and how it's good for stand up and how you can utilize it as a 30-second trailer, which I'm sure you felt the same way. Like, this is my stand up, come see me live. You hope one feeds into the other.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm streaming this special too, because it's been a while since I've shot one
Yeah.
with all that network money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I need something contemporary.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically.
And well, the thing is, then again, like, I don't know. So, but they've been saying that that's pretty good for the internet. And it is. It's good to have, you get your own following, yada, yada. The thing that I don't know about, because everything's changed literally from the time I started doing stand up to now, it's always like the bar is being moved exponentially faster than it ever has before. But all these billionaires are buying these companies. So like Spotify, you know, I mean, which I have
They can't take a joke.
yeah, and they can't take a joke. Exactly. And
Fucking thin-skinned billionaires.
yeah,
Hurry up and get to Mars, will you?
yeah, exactly. And they're fucking censoring you when you're on there. And on top of it, so like I don't know how sustainable that's going to be. And I don't know where the expression is going to come from. I don't know if it's going to have to be the industry is going to be more self-funded, you know, more than it is like without getting outside shit. I have no idea. But I just know that like for me, I feel like I feel like everything we built on Instagram or TikTok can be taken away like that. Not in the sense that like, you know, restrictions on language and shit like that in the movies and the arts and television and the FCC, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like they can wipe out an entire platform you've built your career on in Congress one day because they fucking feel like it. Or you're going to have a moral call where, like, for instance, Spotify, the dude from Spotify is literally helping fund agenda. You know what I mean? Like he's paying into tech companies to build fucking mass destructive weapon, you know? So you're like, oh, I give this guy $10 a month. That fucking sucks, you know, or more for whatever, or your art's on there. So I don't know.
It's a moral quandary.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the greatest contradiction, and I'm sure everybody's brought it up, not alone in this, is that, you know, we're all on our iPhones reading motivational memes by the Dalai Lama on a device that's built by, you know, 12-year-old kids with elements dug by 12-year-old kids at the bottom of a hole in the Congo.
Yeah. And it's hard
to follow the trail down. It is hard.
Yeah, and it's hard to give a shit about. And I love Colbert and Kimmel and all that other stuff. But if the entirety of the United States is not going to understand that the real threat of going after these guys isn't, because I think it gets muddled sometimes, isn't that they lost a job. Who gives a fuck? They're million. You know, there's no way that they're not going to be able to take their massive audience. They're not losing their fucking homes, you know, any of that shit. So, but I think I don't know that it was necessarily emphasized, maybe by Kimmel more, but like that it's the idea that a sitting president in the United States is influencing another part of the FCC dude to just rip people off for disagreeing with him. That's the fear. But if Americans aren't going to see that and hear it, then, you know, what's the, like, I can't care about Colbert because.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off just about it.
No, go ahead.
It made me think of the Riyadh Comedy Festival in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
When Chappelle can be quoted as saying, it's freer here than it is in America. Bullshit, buddy.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. People don't get their heads chopped off in public yet. If Charlie Kirk had his way, they might have.
Yes, exactly. Fucking A right, man. And he said it more than anything else. How many times did he say it? He said there should be
all kinds of times.
Yeah.
And Bill Burr called us all hypocrites. I thought he was the funniest man in the spotlight.
Yeah.
I thought that he was, the working class prophet.
Yeah. I
who
think
had never sold out.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should have there's some of those people that were there that should have just said they did it for the fucking money, because that whole thing about, oh, we wanted to start a conversation is bullshit. Because if
they should give every fucking penny to a homeless shelter.
Yes.
Take that cheap, what's the guy's name? Prince Solomon, chopped you up with a bone saw.
Yeah.
Fucking Solomon.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And then Burr's argument, when he came back, was, hey, come on, don't come, you hypocrites, you buy clothes that were made in sweatshops,
Right.
Look, we're all hostage to that aspect of capitalism.
Yes.
I mean, we can't move to a cave and fucking live on reserves of body fat and rainwater.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to buy clothes. Yeah, it's going to be, well, my daughters buy everything. They never buy anything new anymore. They, they buy everything that's recycled and stuff. Yes, man. They're, I say that I always love getting paid, but I raised a couple of Bolsheviks. But I've got this conscience, right? And but they had a choice.
Yes.
They had a choice they had a choice to say no.
Yeah.
And I tip my hat to David Cross for calling them out,
Yeah.
because everybody wants to belong too, right?
Right.
You want to belong,
Hmm.
and for Cross to stand up there, and his rant was righteous and it was on point and it was called for,
Yeah.
because that comedy festival, to me, as this heinous nation of human rights abuse, as it tries to whitewash its image,
Hmm.
the first place they go is the comedians.
Yeah.
And oh boy, you know what? The royal family laughing. They're just people laughing at
Sure.
everything. No, they're not. They're
No.
killers.
Exactly.
They're
And
killers.
it's the same. This is what blows me away. And for all these guys who pretend to be so fucking smart and pontificate, and their stand up means something and blah blah blah. You can't see that what they just did with one fucking festival is what Fox News has, or what the right wing and Fox News had done to comedians for the last fucking 10 goddamn years, is curate this fucking right wing comedy bullshit that they're like, and then to make it seem like, because it was always the right wing that was offended, trying to get shit canceled, trying to write in to get Simpsons can't, all this other crap. Comedians couldn't say what they wanted because of the right
Now,
wing.
anybody with empathy or a conscience or
Right.
a heart is woke.
Right.
Well, I've always been woke. You've been the one who's been asleep.
Exactly. Yeah.
If that's the case.
Exactly.
And I
And
think that, and that's comedy's role,
yeah.
is to move the world to the right side of history.
Right. Right. And what they wound up doing was cultivate, like, because they did attack, or not attack, but they did kind of call comedians in a way that was like, well, sitcoms are dying, the comedy boom is no more, and credits, for whatever they were worth at the time, would get you seen on TV and get you moved up in the clubs and maybe paid a little more. So Fox News, because NBC wasn't doing anything, CNN wasn't having comedians on, but Fox and all those other shows were like, hey, we love to laugh. We don't want you to. You laugh at whatever the fuck you want to say. You want to say the N word? Fucking go. We love that here. So they grabbed all these comedians, and comedians went for it, and they did it. And then they wound up, using comedians and comedy as a way to lure in younger fans. Hey, we don't think you're a piece of shit for laughing at stuff. We love that shit. They don't love it. They just want a new audience. And the same thing with the Saudis. And the thing is, like,
it's a deal with the devil, man.
Yeah, it is, totally. And Jessica Kirson was, to her credit, the only one who gave her fucking money away.
She did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And I talked to her about it. And she was like, I went because I'm a gay. I said I wanted to talk about being gay, and I didn't want to change my act. And she didn't. And she went and did her own fucking shit and then donated the money. And then, and I think that was the right move. The rest of them, I don't know.
Scared?
What?
Was she scared?
Yeah. Yeah. And but I think that went away, with whatever, when you're there, when you're on stage, you just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, she was having a good, when that light hits. But and that's it. Yeah, everything goes away. You can have a broken leg and the stage light hits you and you're like doing a little soft shoe, you know what I mean? And then when it goes off, you can't walk again. But
so is this have they struck the template for what's to come? I kind of saw it coming. I knew that they were that Saudi Arabia was on the way to this with the golf,
yeah,
with golfing 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then this came along. So it's clearly very malicious intent.
Totally. Well, I mean, the weirdest thing is
people don't have the time to ask. I don't think people have the time to or want to give the time to ask the right questions about this.
Well, like, my agent called me the other day and, buried the lead a little bit there, but she was like, I got this great gig. It's an acting thing. They're looking for New Yorkers. They're looking for this, it pays a ridiculous amount of money. And I was like, oh, cool, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and then she was like, oh, but it's in Dubai and you get to go for 9 days. And then, like, initially, first of all, I'm out, I'm driving. So I'm listening to this and I'm like, yeah, submit me, whatever, blah, blah. And then I got off the phone and I was like, I don't want to go to Dubai. What am I, a fucking Kardashian? I'm not going to go to Dubai for not, like, and I just thought, and then I started getting angry because I'm like, why is this director from the States flying out to Dubai to shoot a fucking commercial with New Yorker? They want real New Yorkers with improv comedians, improvs, all this other crap. I'm like, what's wrong with doing it fucking here? Like, how badly do all of we like? I've been in this industry for I don't know how 20 years. You can't. There's nothing in New York. Like nobody's doing shit there anymore, and they're how quickly they'll sell their fucking souls to just do it in a place over there. And I just think it's insane. I don't want it to go in that direction because I just won't do it. I'll farm. I don't know what the fuck I'll do, but like, I'm not gonna like, I'm
farm.
yeah.
You mean farm? I always think about raising miniature donkeys, man. Getting a spot in Nova Scotia. What's Ron up to? He's doing the tight 10 for the donkey corral here. Like a dozen donkeys.
Seriously. That's not a
Right?
bad idea.
Why not, man?
Yeah.
It's something I think about. I
ever
miss
see
the
stupid
word.
people make money and then you wonder, like, you're like, I'm smart. Like, you know what I mean? I used to think about that like all the time when I would see like, because I'm Italian and I would see like the mafia making like, but I would be like, they can't spell. You know what I mean? Why do they have money and I don't? What's the
mafia
point?
in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
In your neighborhood?
Yeah.
They can't spell.
They can't spell. They don't know they don't know where shit is on a map. What do I care? Like, you know what I would trade? To have a wad of cash and not know, not know anything about Europe. That'd be great.
And not care about knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Just blissful.
Yeah.
In their moral ignorance.
Yes, 100%. Totally. And I'm
right?
like, I just can't,
I mean, we're talking here. It's not that, I don't want to sound sanctimonious about this, but I always thought that that comedians it was demanded of us not to sell out for the wrong reasons. I mean, in the old day, not to sell out. How do you sell out for the right reasons? Yeah. Well, I suppose maybe a sitcom. I suppose if you have a family to feed and you get a nice role, there's always conditions as to why you do that. I mean, I did corporate gigs for years.
Yeah.
And that's what happened when we were at Second City. They, SCTV was canceled, and the trajectory of what we were doing was null and void.
Yeah.
And
but you mean like for AT&T, not like Blackwater. You know what I mean? Like corporate, just to be clear, everybody.
Exactly. I'm just going to tell you something. Don't go in that room, okay? Just don't go in that room. Just don't go in that room. You went in the room. You went in the room.
That was good.
We got a guy in a box.
Yeah.
Fuck. Exactly. You're not doing it for Blackwater.
Yeah.
But when are the fucking guys going to be working for Blackwater?
Right.
When are they going to be doing a tight 10 for the guys morale who are running the Black Ops site?
Right.
I mean, if you'll work in Saudi Arabia, and I'll never forget the grainy footage of Khashoggi.
Yes, right, exactly. Well, that's the thing though too, is like, it's one of those things that I feel like you can't, like, I get it. If you're performing all over the country, you don't know who owns the stadium or the theater or even the one that you're going to see Elton John perform at. If one of the dudes who owns it is anti-gay, you don't know. Maybe he votes the other way. That I get. But when you're going to an entire fucking country run by a handful of people who brutally murdered a fucking, that game, there's no wiggle room there. You don't have to go there. And again, the conversation thing where they were like, well, we wanted to start a conversation. I'm sorry. If that worked, then every red state you performed in would be blue, you fucking moron.
Wanted the conversation.
Yeah.
And, I it's one of the things that I wanted the conversation. That's the thing young comedians think that their work is going to change the world. At least I did when I was in Second City.
Sure.
I remember during the SALT II treaties, buddy of mine and I had a scene at Second City in Toronto. It was called Russians. We were two Russians working on a missile. One guy has a change of heart and one guy doesn't, and whatever. So that was the scene. And you think in those idealistic days of youth when you're scrawny young satirists that people are going to go home and really remember this and
Yeah.
maybe change. But how they were so naive, or else they were throwing the wool over our eyes, that we wanted to create a conversation. Do you really think they sat down with the royal family and said, "Hey, look, maybe not do what you're doing, okay?
Right.
Maybe don't chop heads off on Wednesday in public,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe let
Exactly.
women drive,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Maybe stop blowing up hospitals in Yemen.
Yeah.
Maybe stop that a conversation." Wow.
Yeah. I know. It's fucking insane, man. And that's why I like, the whole idea of just kind of going like, hey, for the next hour, or in your case, because you're showing off 2 hours, we're gonna forget. No, not here. I mean, like
Oh,
your stand up. You do like
oh,
2 hour fucking shows.
well, I tell you, no, I will say that I'll tell you, um, I'm a, I had in Canada, I had to compete with the best who came up from the States,
Oh,
and Britain.
yeah,
Okay. And when I started blazing trail into the soft seaters,
yeah,
from the clubs, because nobody was doing it, I wanted to plant a flag that would let the audience know that when they came to see me, they would get their money's worth.
mm,
I had no series at the time. I had no specials. It was just me and my work.
right.
And I had I had a half hour show, this thing called Comics at CBC at the time, and
Oh,
I had Shaky Town on the Comedy Network, but it was low numbers watching it in those days.
okay.
And so uh, and I had the content. So I wanted to give the audience an honest bang for their buck so that they would spread the word and say, look, you go to see this guy, you're going to get a show.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, what people in Canada find hard to believe, like I was 2 weeks on the other side of Seinfeld in a small province of PEI.
wow,
I mean, they've got 180,000 people in the province, man.
right,
There's more than a block. And
right.
so he's still pulling $150 per person out of a province that size.
Sure.
I'm taking the ferry over there. He's bringing in the jet, but he's still there 2 weeks before me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And,
right.
and he's in the maritime provinces. And this was a few years ago. And so what I wanted the audiences to feel was that um, uh, this guy who's not riding on international fame, not to take anything from Jerry's caliber. I
No,
mean,
right.
but I had nothing to ride on because there's no, celebrity in Canada is an oxymoron.
Yeah,
Celebrity for me means I'm just drinking for free north of the tree line, to use one of my old lines.
yeah.
That's
Love it.
so that's why I started doing these long shows, and they were actually a little longer this time because it was breaking in new material.
Yeah,
But so that's why I did that, and it I think that it gave them a faith in the product that when they bought a ticket, they would get their money's worth. It was
yeah.
as simple as that.
Smart. It's really smart. And I mean, that's the right way to think about it too. If you're going to do those kind of venues and stuff like that, is who the hell came before
Yeah.
me? Who the hell was here? What'd they do? Did they blow out the place?
And everybody's come and everybody's on the road now, right?
Yes.
And
Everybody.
yeah. But I think this might be this is the beginning of my penultimate run
Oh, yeah.
across Canada. I think so. And I've had some close calls driving. I was a second vehicle on a 4-truck fatality outside of Edmonton in a blizzard 2 Decembers ago, and
Jesus.
it was brutal. Highway was
Yeah.
anyway. Then I still had to drive 7 hours that day to Saskatoon, but exciting.
Yeah.
But and then
I got to tell you, I enjoy every time I've spoken to you and you said Saskatoon. So it just makes me really happy. Genuinely. I get like a buzz from it.
That's I could name drop up by the shores of Lake Windagoostagwint near the Coojaboojawak where the Ketchama-Witchetty Whack'em attack runs thick with pickerel and spring. Yes, brother. I can name drop all day long. There's a place in Quebec called St. Louis de Ha Ha, which I think is the coolest name. Uh, but as you well know, there's a town in Newfoundland called Dildo,
Yes, yes.
which is right around the corner from Come by Chance. Really.
didn't know
And you
that.
thought Disneyland was the happiest place on earth, brother. I mean, come on, man. We got it made
Seriously.
here.
Oh my
And
God.
I've said Saskatoon every time. That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I've had some close calls and the weather and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't blame you.
And then I'll do a national tour and stuff. But you know what? I never went overseas. It'll be hard to go to the States for me now. I can't after what I said about taco tits online, right? I mean, I'd be done for.
Yeah,
All
no,
it
absolutely.
takes is one of Christy Nome stormtroopers to take a look at my Facebook feed.
Yeah, that's it.
Right,
Coming over
done
there.
for.
That's the
And it's not
scariest
just
part.
it is, and I mean, and it's happening all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Snowbirds heading to Florida are getting turned
Oh, yeah.
back. Two sisters last year in February or March, they were heading to Ohio. They were from Cape Breton. They were folk singers, a fiddler and a guitar player heading down for a festival. And boy, they got the third degree by the cop. They said, he said, there's a lot of fentanyl
right.
coming in here. And like, there's a thimble full of fentanyl coming in. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
every fucking day, there's half a Smith and Wesson stock coming in on the back of a fruit truck.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Right?
you're right.
I mean, that's where all the guns are coming from.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they're getting stopped. CEOs are getting stopped. Right? There's all kinds of different stories, and I think that ICE is getting increasingly more brazen and ruthless.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's blood in the water, and he's worried about. People are pushing back, and then he's making them push back harder, and and now they got Dean Cain, which is its end game. That's when you get Dean. He's the
That guy.
Dean Cain is his fucking right wing washed up. He used to play Superman on the Adventures of Lois and Clark with fuck, I forget her name, but yeah, he turned into a racist lunatic, right wing guy, and he signed up and started doing ads for ICE.
No.
Yep. And he wears the uniform, and he's a little chunkier now, but he looks like but yeah, him. God, who the fuck else? There was another actor that did it too, and like Dr. Phil is like riding around with ICE now. It's like this is the worst clown car. Like, it's not even
Worst clown car. And isn't Roseanne Barr
Roseanne
and buddy from Michigan, that guy.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, Roseanne Barr, Tim Allen.
Yeah.
That's it. Roseanne Barr, Tim Allen, another guy. Aren't they the anti-woke comedy team or anti-woke group?
So here's my thing on Tim Allen. This might be genuine bias, right? Because I grew up watching Home Improvement, and I love the Santa Claus. Watched it every year. Every time I hear Tim on TV speak about it, he seems to be a guy who doesn't necessarily have a point of view about politics. The only thing he does seem to have a point of view about is like an 80s comic basically would, of why am I giving half my money to pay taxes? He's just a guy who doesn't want to pay taxes. So I think he was inadvertently classically Republican all through that point of view. Like, because he's not anti-gay, not anti-trans, not anti any of that shit. But then, and I don't think he's not to, some people just don't have it in them to follow this shit.
Does this get back to the British, you guys throwing the tea in the water? Is it all the way back your contempt for taxes?
Basically,
well,
yeah.
I mean,
but Roseanne's nuts.
Yeah, well.
Oh God.
But we pay taxes because we have health care.
Yeah.
It plows the road. It builds schools.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you this. And I don't even know. I might cut it from I probably won't. But I'll tell you this. I got a call from Roseanne and her son about grabbing Dystopia Tonight for their podcasting network that was supposed to be like a 24-hour
whatever.
And at first I was just like, I'll take the call. I'll fucking see what's
Sure.
up. I don't care what's going on. And I honestly don't have any gripe with Roseanne because I know she's got like 6 different personalities and she's whatever, and maybe one of them's racist. I don't fucking know, right? So I just don't. It's a very delicate thing when it's like the mentally ill say some shit. I just want to be like, oh, you're adorable. Go back, take your fucking meds.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Right.
But her son,
You
I
be
think.
good, and we'll give you some scissors with the points.
Exactly. Yeah.
God's sake.
And then you can run with them if you want. Yeah, her son her son seems to be the driving force behind their thing. And now because she's estranged from her 2 daughters who are
Oh, what a sin,
ridiculously
man.
liberal. And her son lives with her. And I think his son has his wife and kid or whatever. So they all live in the same space together. But man, he is the driving force behind most of her shit. And he is too close to Andrew Tate-ish kind of, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And again, I don't know that, I'm not saying Roseanne doesn't have a mind of her own and she can't actually do it, but I don't know if that's what you're around. And he's always on the podcasts with her and he kind of feeds her conspiracy shit. Cause I saw her on Bill Maher's show and she seemed, before, like, not his HBO show, but his podcast. And she seems perfectly coherent enough to talk about comedy back in the day and
Sure.
how hard it was for women and Carson giving her a break and all that other shit. And then I can just see something else take over when they talk about the world or politics or anything like that, where I'm like, oh, this woman's just being fed half the information or maybe little to none of it, by somebody else. And then
Don't you
she's
think the world is so much nicer if you don't go down that rabbit hole?
absolutely
Isn't it so much nicer? Aren't
one.
people better?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I still have a bit of a hippie soul or something.
me
I
too.
don't know, but
That's why we get
it's it's just it's so confrontational.
It is, but it's all. Doesn't it ever feel like it's all driven from social media? Like I
Yeah,
mean, this may be the
yeah,
only conspiracy I have, but it's like I don't remember being as angry or seeing my friends as angry or some of them as
no.
they were when they were scrolling through Twitter and
Oh,
reading what bots say and reading what fake people say and all this other shit.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but it's not that. I talk to people all the time. Like it's not like usually that. Like I can go out in the world or whatever, but everybody has got
Always.
yeah, and it's being
And,
because we're
and
being fed shit.
well, as comedians, we have to ingest that,
Yeah, we do.
make our opinion on it,
Yeah,
which hopefully is going to be an enlightened one,
yeah. You would hope. You would hope.
rather than on the side of the hopefully it's going to be on the side of resistance
Yeah,
rather than of Sauron. And it's but I mean, in the Star Wars sagas, the Empire was mean for a reason. They were the Empire.
yes. And how are they missing the point? Like so many fucking
I
right.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Everybody who watched those Star Wars movies knew that the Empire were the bad guys.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. You weren't
They
like
knew Darth
yeah,
Vader was the bad guy. They knew he was consumed by, uh, you know,
yeah.
dark forces. Uh,
It's fucking
I, I,
ridiculous.
I don't understand how they can't see the good from the bad. But
Me neither.
Chris Hedges, I'm a big fan of him.
Hmm.
He won the Pulitzer Prize for I think it was either Death of the Liberal Class or Empire of Illusion. But
Oh,
about 15 or 17 years ago, he wrote a book called American Fascists: How the Religious Right is Co-opting American Politics. He got fired by the New York Times for speaking out against
I
the
remember
Iraq
reading that.
War years ago.
Yeah.
But he's seen this, everything that's happened has been a long game, I think.
Yes. Oh
And
yeah.
he does blame the Democrats for
Oh,
forsaking their base, their working class base that FDR took such care of.
they're so
And
fucking useless. I'm so tired of them.
oh fuck, man,
What
they're
they did to
awful.
Mamdani and what they didn't like they almost did to Mamdani what they did to Bernie Sanders and it's fucking
Really,
aggravating as shit and I'm
really.
glad Mamdani won and they didn't back him they didn't support him they didn't fucking acknowledge him even though he was in the lead he trashed he blew Cuomo out of the fucking water You know, and the first go around, and then was going to do it again, and the Democrats still refused to you know, whatever. And that to me is like, I love, you know, I like Obama a lot, but every now and again I'll see him out there, and when the Democrats win, he's out there talking again. He's like, there's still a lot of work to be done. You can't rest. And I'm like, hey, fuck you, guy. I did the work was voting and getting out to vote and making sure other people got out to vote. Now that you're being paid and we got you where you're supposed to be, you work, you do. And I'm going to go back. We're going to go back to raising our families and going to school and working a regular fucking job or whatever the fuck it is, because that's how it works. This whole thing of like, we all have to be politically active fucking every day. No, because I did
Every minute of every day.
yeah,
No.
I did my part. I got the guy that I wanted, whose policies I support, in the job. What do you want? The fuck do you want me to do? And I'm supposed to be this aggravated and this annoyed and online all the time and arguing with family and fucking, you know, friends and all this shit and not get paid? Get fucked. But that's what the Democrats do all the time. This is
And there's a whole
ongoing
school of
battle.
thought, of course, you know, that you know, Obama's reluctance to throw anybody into jail for 2008, of course,
Yep.
planted the seeds for Trump.
Absolutely. Wishy-washy fucking Democratic centrist horseshit. And that's the thing that I think is so crazy, that it's like Bill, this is why Bill Maher can go fuck himself, because he's shitting on Mamdani and he's like, the center is the way to go. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, rich guy. But everybody, even MAGA, who like all of them, you know, they don't even know that this guy's a fucking swindler or whatever. How they don't, I don't get it. But even they want the same shit. They just bet on the wrong fucking horse. They want healthcare. They want their loved ones to be okay. They want to be able to afford a fucking house, an apartment building on the job that they want to live in. Yeah, I mean, an apartment building they want to live in from the one job that they have, and you know, free education.
That's the same thing the socialists fought for in the 30s before they were crushed.
Right.
It's what Clifford Odets wrote about.
Yes.
You know, waiting for Lefty. It's
yes.
what On the Waterfront was about.
Right.
It's what Elia Kazan, before he turned people in,
Yeah.
but it's, you know, it's what he captured. It's what Frank Capra wrote in A Wonderful Life. I mean,
Yes.
given the way the world has turned, old Mr. Potter is the good guy, while Jimmy Stewart is just a
moocher.
A mooching socialist trying to scam the system.
Right, exactly.
That's how it's flipped, man.
Yeah.
Colonel Potter is now the good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
A rapacious,
fucking
stone cold capitalist.
Yeah.
Whose motivation is the almighty dollar and prostrate at the altar of mammon.
Yeah. Dude, I'm right there with you, man. And I just don't, I mean, God, I should just move to Canada.
I don't know where empathy went, but I'll tell you one thing. Cruelty is now currency and kindness worthless in that MAGA regime.
Absolutely.
And
dude.
I grew up, look, man, when we grew up in Canada, we admired America as kids. I mean, you guys would throw a parade just because it was Tuesday. You know?
We do love our Tuesdays.
No, you're always marching in a parade. You'd fucking break out and it was a good parade, right?
Yeah.
You know, the majorettes never dropped the baton, right? I had to settle for the Shubenacadie smelt run. But when I was a kid, they and I'd be reading, you know, my DC comic book, Sergeant Rock, and my DC comic book, and on the back, you could order a kid could order a 2-man submarine from the back of a DC comic book.
Ooh.
You find an old issue from the 60s with two kids. One kid's on the periscope and one kid's shooting a torpedo.
Yeah.
$6.95. Good for up to under 10 feet of water. I guess somebody sent away for it, and it turned out to be a cardboard box with a toilet roll on the top. Whatever they had. I don't know. Whatever they had. Right? But stamped on that was order void in Canada. And you had everything. I mean, you had, from a kid's perspective, the Frisbees, Super Bowls, lawn darts. You know, we had them here, but you guys outlawed them too. But I love the fact that lawn darts are still outlawed in America, but you can get an AR-15 with a scope without a mental health
Seriously,
background
at a
check.
Walmart, Click Clacks I think are outlawed, and you can still get a fucking gun. Remember Click Clacks?
Click
Yeah,
clacks.
fucking
They're outlawed,
they are outlawed.
but
Yeah,
you can get an AR. Click clacks and lawn darts are
yeah,
outlawed,
Click Clacks.
but you can
No,
get an
yeah,
AR-15.
yeah,
And I mean, they're so. And uh, it was uh, uh, it was a place that just your nation was a place that intoxicated us. I mean, in all your post-war glory with JFK and Jackie,
yeah,
in their Ray Bans at poolside, and up in Canada, we had a squirrely old prime minister, John Diefenbaker's main squeeze olive, stepping over fucking cow pies at a tractor pull in Esterhazy. It's like,
right.
okay, there's the cool, and there's all right then. Okay, we got some work to do,
Yeah,
but you were
yeah,
cool, man. And that stayed with. That's I said earlier in our conversation. The American dream is encoded in the world's DNA.
yeah,
That you could come there, and I know. I mean, it was a spin, of course. It was the best PR spin of all time. That everybody could actualize their happiness, where
yeah.
opportunity lay plump with promise.
Right.
And I mean, it's like. Uh, the march of manifest destiny because we're the chosen and everything. And we never had that foundation myth, man.
Right.
You
Right.
know, we never had Puritans landing in Massachusetts in
No.
1630, fucking building a city on a hill. We had half a dozen fucking French voyageurs chasing beaver with a Jesuit in the back of the canoe looking to convert a couple of Indians, man. There was no foundation myth, right?
Right.
And, but when you sold America, I remember reading about uh, when they got a hold of Santa Claus, Madison Avenue, and turned what had been a scrawny Turkish saint roaming the desert, covered in
Yeah.
hides, handing out wild turnips to kids, and turned him into a roly poly elf with a white beard.
Yeah.
And
Coke.
you could sell a story. And I think America was always able to sell its story well.
Mm.
And that's what's disappointing now as a next door neighbor, is because the guys we thought we knew, like you, like,
Yeah.
the tribe that I knew
Yeah.
when I was down there, were the, and other families moved into the house next door.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
And so
It
I
is
can't
upsetting.
wait for the day that I can come back again, because I've traveled the length and breadth of the country. I just never got down to the south, but traveled across Montana, been to Custer's Battlefield a couple times because
Nice.
Canadians fought there at the Battle of the Little Bighorn.
Yeah.
And,
You got to come to Jersey, man, in the
I'd love
summer.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Please.
As soon as the Tangerine Genie is out of the White House, I'll be down again, and I'll do a set. And
I always call him the.
people in the audience will be going, "What's he? I know he's funny, but what's he saying?" I had comedians say that to me at Laugh Resort. I know you're funny, but I don't understand what you're saying.
Fucking hilarious. Unreal.
Anyway, I hope whoever tunes in will
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying
Well, I'm
on
going to ask
Friday.
you the last three. I think I've asked you this before, but I'm not sure. I might change it up a bit. Did I ask you the last three questions last time?
I don't think so. No.
Because they may have been. I think you may have been on early enough where I didn't start doing them yet. So I'm going to do it now.
Okay.
First question is, if you can go back in time and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself that would help you today?
Slow down. Life is all about the long haul.
Beautiful. Second question is, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
I think my marriage,
Yeah.
worst time of my life, being estranged from my children and
Oof.
everything. And I was in the belly of the whale for a while, and some dark night of the soul. But I separated after 23 years of marriage, 2 weeks before my television series went up,
Wow.
and so it was a real seismic shift in my psyche.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of good friends who never didn't answer my phone calls, and I did the hard work you had to do in order to put my life on track, and I have 2 daughters that love me,
Beautiful.
and so it worked out better. And um, I stopped feeling guilty for being on the road and doing the work that I was called to do.
Great, man. That's awesome. And it's the thing you said about the friends, dude. It's always, God, man. I hope everybody has friends
And I've
like
tried
that.
to play it forward.
Yeah, nice, man.
I've tried to play that forward in times when, and yeah, and yeah.
Beautiful. Third question ties into the theme of the show, so it's Dystopia tonight. What would be if you woke up tomorrow and you found out it was end of the world, 24 hours, everybody knows, 24 hours left for everybody.
Wow.
What do you think would be the cause? It's your choice, but climate change, meteor, comet, aliens, zombies. What's going to be your epic death? How do you want to go out?
Oh, my epic death.
Yeah.
Does it have to be the end of the world death, or can it be a death that I've thought of?
Yeah, it could be a death that you thought of, sure.
I want to be taken down on the tundra by a pack of tree-lined carnivores, smeared from tip to tail in bacon fat. Because you want to feel alive when you go.
Oh
You don't
my
want to.
God.
You don't want to slip away into eternity on a morphine drip in the
Oh.
sepulchral gloom of a hospital room. You want to be running for your life and feeling young again, while those atrophied pins you once called limbs start moving like an Olympic sprinter from the fucking Soviet love camp, jacked up on bargain basement steroids they bought at the gum store, brother. I'll tell you one thing: you'd be the talk of the old folks' home. Because I thought the helicopter would pick you up at the old folks' home and drop you down in the tundra.
Right.
Right. And then your buddies would be playing shuffleboard at the home. And one guy would be going, where's Ron? I haven't seen him in a long time, Jerry. Oh, Jesus, didn't you hear? No. Christ, he got eaten by wolves. What? Yeah, up in the tundra, smeared from tip to tail in bacon fat. And Jerry will look at Reg, and I'll look around here and see the antiseptic sameness of this geriatric waiting room to the hereafter he's been sitting in since his kids pushed him out the passenger side door of the car the day after he signed the house over to them. And he'll look at his buddy Jerry and say, out of curiosity, pal, what do you think a trip like that would run you? So I guess I've spent too much time driving alone in the car.
That's fucking genius, dude. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, pleasure. You too, man.
Yeah.
You too. I don't traveling the road. You don't get a chance to talk to comedians a lot, right?
Yeah, man.
Let alone great American ones
Thank you.
who've sat in his chair and talked to the best.
Thanks.
So
man.
thank you very much. And
of course,
I hope some of your people tune in to see me. Right?
They will, man. Absolutely.
I have
I'll
a
make sure
feeling
of it.
that they might know what I'm saying.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. And plug the special coming up, dude.
Oh, the special, yes. It's at 7:30 on Friday night, and it's called The View from Here. And you can get it on. It's on my. I think they sent you the information, but it's on my website, ronjames.ca, and I'm on Facebook, ramblingman.ca,
Yes.
and Instagram, and all the information is there. And I think it's only about. With the exchange, I think it's only about $8.
Yeah, it's Friday, November 28th, by the way, which is my birthday.
Hey, right on, man. That's a good sign.
Yep, absolutely
right.
a good sign.
November 28th at 7:30.
Yep.
You'll be out doing shooters or something, will you?
I will be. It's the day after Thanksgiving here, so all my friends are home. We're all fucking hanging out.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna be plastered. We'll watch your special. It'll be great. I'll text you. I'll FaceTime. Remember when I accidentally FaceTimed you when you were in a fucking
man,
blizzard?
it was really funny.
Yeah, that was great.
Have a good time with your buddies. Happy
Thank
birthday.
You. Thank you.
And thanks again for this. It's been a real pleasure.
Of course, man. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Hang out backstage in a second.
Dystopia tonight.